What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. So it is Christmas Eve, and I hope everyone out there has a great night tonight and an awesome holiday weekend. But there are a few things to go over here to finish out the week, which does include more sales that have gone live. That seems to be a lot of what the news has been this week, as all these companies and developers kind of prepare their sales for the holiday weekend. We'll go over that along with kind of a fun one with the 3DS even. We're also going to be going over a sales and stock update in Japan for the PlayStation 5, and we're going to be going over some Xbox Live games that leaked out a bit early and then were revealed. Guys, if you enjoy these videos, make sure that like button helps out a ton, and if you're new here to the Spawn Wave channel, make sure you subscribe down below and ring that notification bell so you can keep up to date with all of the uploads here on the channel. And we're going to start today with Sonic, but we're going to start with a Sonic concept that was actually rejected by Sega. We can see this tweet, this posted up by Nitrome, saying, "Did you ever wonder why we added wall running to Super Leap Day? Said a long time ago, we pitched a Sonic take on the Leap Day format. Sadly, the Sega gods did not see the potential, but we did make this demo, and we liked the mechanics, so we decided to keep it." And there is a full video showcasing, I guess, one of the earlier levels where it's in like this vertical orientation, and the idea would be you can just play it with one hand because you tap the screen to jump. And obviously the way you would hold a phone in one hand, it makes sense here. It's a different take on the Sonic formula. Rather than running left to right or right to left even for certain levels, it appears you'd just be going from starting at the bottom and then jumping up to the top with different enemies, and even they had some bosses that they showed off here. I mean, it seems kind of cool. I'm not really sure why Sega rejected it, although it looks like fun, so maybe that's why, right? But I don't know, the idea of a Sonic mobile game could work out really well for Sega if they approached it in a creative way like this. Kind of reminds me of the vertical version of Mario Run, and I know that wasn't overly successful for Nintendo, but at this point, Sega should be doing whatever they can with Sonic that looks at least somewhat creative. And hey, they said they're still open to it, so you never know, it could still happen. Also, during the Game Awards, we had this very odd moment where it appeared like Silent Hill was being teased by Guillermo del Toro. This was an exchange with Kojima, talking about, I believe, his new movie. But people thought, well, wait, is he teasing Silent Hill? Is that still happening? Is Konami and Kojima, are they back together, maybe with Sony involved? Well, del Toro did clarify this statement. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like that is actually the case. We can see this here, where he says he wanted to tickle the ribs of Konami. This was during a podcast, that being Happy, Sad, Confused podcast. Goes on to say, what we were doing was so enthralling. Now, could he just be saying that to like kind of quiet things down a bit because people got really excited after that happened? Conspiracy theories started popping up everywhere, right? And obviously remember PT, which was going to lead into Silent Hills, and it's so compelling of a demo, people still work to get that on PlayStations now, and they'll even talk about anniversaries of that demo releasing. I mean, it's always possible that Konami and Kojima have gotten back together with Sony as a mediator to make this all work, but at the end of the day, does Silent Hill sell enough for Sony to go that far out of their way to make it happen? I don't know if it does. I mean, I'd like to think that Sony would do it because so many people talk about it and might be interested in buying a PS5 just for it, but Konami and Kojima, that sounded like a pretty rough split. So, hey, I guess if anyone could do it, maybe it'd be Sony. So I guess we'll find out here in the next couple of years at least if this was a legitimate tease or him just poking fun at Konami. Oh, and we did have a new cosmetic go live in Halo Infinite that certainly got the internet talking. You can see it here, and yeah, that's right. It's the Cat Lovers bundle with cat ears for your Spartan helmet. And there were a lot of opinions, especially on the Halo Infinite subreddit over this, and I've seen a lot of people wearing these while playing Halo Infinite. And the way I look at this, because people are like, oh, why are they doing cat ears? So dumb. And other people are like, oh, this is great. I mean, they're cosmetics, so like I at least enjoy the idea of them being more creative rather than just always serious around these different cosmetics. People don't really complain about samurai Spartans, so sure, if you want cat ears on your Spartan, to me, that's fine too. I would just like to see them continue to do things that are more fun and creative with these cosmetics going forward. Of course, the sticking point is it's 1,000 credits, which is what, like $10, but people are buying it, so I guess it's at least working for them. And guys, with some of the quick news out of the way, let's get into the bigger stuff. Let's start right away with Xbox Live Games with Gold for the month of January. I will say there have been a lot of disappointing months for Games with Gold. It's not been the best, not been the strongest time for this subscription service. It's pretty obvious that Microsoft is focusing very heavily on Game Pass, and this has become kind of like an afterthought. It's certainly taken a back seat. And Games with Gold used to be pretty good years ago, but let's take a look at these titles. They leaked out early, and then Microsoft just came out and just released the Xbox Wire press release and posting, just confirming it. But put the video out, and we can see them here, starting with Neuro Voider. It's available January 1st to the 31st. Aground, that's January 16th to February 15th. Radiant Silvergun, it's January 1st to 15th. And Space Invaders Infinity Gene, that's January 16th to the 31st. Out of these four, I'm going to say Radiant Silvergun, which is like a shoot 'em up, is probably the best one, and that's available for 2 weeks starting January 1st. So I would certainly claim that. I mean, you might as well claim all of them because they're part of your subscription, so why not? Not a very strong month. They even went over like the values of each one. And it was like $53.96, and even that I think was kind of stretching it there. They like to point out the gamer scores over anything else because achievements and gamer scores does help to kind of push this subscription service along, but it's like one of those moments where they show it, it's like the crowd goes mild kind of thing. It's a lot of disappointment online. I think this is going to be a very forgettable month, especially when you look at PlayStation Plus, which we just talked about, where it looks like Persona 5 Strikers is going to be part of that, along with Deep Rock Galactic. People say that's a very good game. I'm going to try it out because I was looking through some of the comments, and apparently it's a really good co-op shooter with solid progression. So yeah, sure, I'll take a look at that one. And then Dirt 5. That seems like it's on a whole other level compared to Games with Gold. But remember, Xbox Live Gold and PlayStation Plus are the same price. So it seems weird that this is the case here. But remember, Microsoft is all about Game Pass, and that does appear that Xbox Live Games with Gold is suffering because of it. You don't get those big third-party deals anymore, and certainly not what we're seeing right now with PlayStation Plus, although even that was coming off of a pretty poor month with Godfall being like the big headliner. So there you go. Those are your Games with Gold game selection for the month of January. Let me know what you think of those. Next up, let's talk about some big game sales that have gone live on the eShop, but not just for the Switch. We're also going to talk a little bit about the 3DS, because there were some pretty good games that went on some fairly steep discounts overall there as well, especially if you just got a 3DS recently, or hey, maybe you're getting one for the holidays. Certainly a good time to pick up a whole bunch of Atlas and Sega games. Let's head over here, though. We'll start with the Switch. We have the Indie World Holiday Sale, and I was looking through this. This is a pretty good sale overall based on the games that are in here. Now, this will be running basically until the end of this year. So like December 31st, 11:59 p.m., just before it ticks over to January 1st, this sale will be ongoing. And like Axiom Verge 2, not a massive discount, but still nice to see that get some sort of markdown. Hades, though, down to $16.24. I mean, Hades is a phenomenal game at full price. You mark it down there to $16, absolute steal. I did notice that Crease Tales is $20. They also have Slime Rancher, Plortable Edition, down to $18.74. Cyber Shadow is a really good game, $15.99. Very much like that 2D Ninja Gaiden, very difficult style game. Streets of Rage 4, down to $14.99. River City Girls, down to $20.99. Risk of Rain 2, $6.24. Then Sea of Solitude, the Director's Cut, down to $9.99. We also had the Humble Games Winter Sale. That went live. It'll be live until the 31st, 11:59 p.m. But we do have a Hat in Time. That's down to $14.99. I actually liked Hat in Time quite a bit. Certainly one I think worth picking up there. Then you have Dodgeball Academia, which surprised me a bit. That's like this dodgeball RPG style game. So think about like the campaign or the single player in some of those Game Boy Mario Golf or Mario Tennis style games, but then with dodgeball, pretty cool there. Then we have Wizard of Legend, that's $4.79. Then Unsighted down to $15.99. Now let's move over to the 3DS, because this was funny. People started to notice that Atlas and Sega published Atlas games are all on sale, it seems. So like Persona Q2 is $9.99. I saw that and I was like, wow, really? That's $10? That's pretty cheap. I don't know if they're just doing a massive like fire sale or something on the 3DS since it's basically done, but like $10 for Persona Q2. Etrian Odyssey Nexus, $10. Etrian Odyssey 5, That one is $9. They have Persona Q, the first one, $7.99. Shin Megami Tensei Devil Survivor 2, $7.99. Etrian Odyssey 2, $7.99. Etrian Odyssey Untold at $7.99. Shin Megami Tensei 4, $7.99. You also have Devil Summoner Soul Hackers, $7.99. Etrian Odyssey 4, $7.99. I mean, this is an awesome sale all the way around. If you're an Atlas fan, definitely getting some of these games that are pretty rare now, I would say physically, certainly ones that are harder to find, at least be able to grab them off the eShop. You could spend $60 and pretty much clean up all of these Atlas and Sega published games. But let me know what you guys think about these sales down below and leave some suggestions. And hey, 3DS isn't done yet. Next up, let's talk about the Famitsu sales charts. These, of course, track week to week, all physical sales in Japan, and they give us an idea as to the systems and most recently, the stock situation around the PlayStation 5. It's been pretty bad in Japan to the point where they didn't even have 2,000 units out to Japan to sell like the prior week. Well, it looks like they did a bit better most recently with this last report. And we'll start with the games though. At the top, we have Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, 116,657 copies. That actually coming up on 2.2 million copies in sold. This is just in Japan alone, so that's pretty good. Mario Party Superstar, 60,555. That crossing 500,000 sold already. Big Brain Academy, Brain vs. Brain, crossing over that 100,000 mark there. Then we have Minecraft, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Animal Crossing New Horizons, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Momotaro Densetsu, Pokemon Sword and Shield, and then Ring Fit Adventure, which is coming up on 3 million sold. Moving over to the hardware, we have the Switch OLED at the top, 93,406. Then we have just the base Redbox Switch, 46,372. Then the Switch Lite, 37,054. Now we see the PS5, 7,790. That's for the disc-based unit there. That's much better than what they had previously, where they just had like a flat, like 15 or 1,600 units between both. So at least that's some improvement. Obviously not on the level of what we have for Nintendo and the Switch, who have been able to provide significantly more systems to this region, but at least it's an improvement for Sony. The Xbox Series X actually had a bit of a jump there, 2,282. PS5 Digital, 874. The Series S, 607. And then we still have the new 2DS and even the PS4 still selling, finding a few units in the back room. So while the Switch continues to roll along, selling over 170,000 units, and that'll probably continue as we go along. I think this year will be down a little bit from the previous year since we're about to wrap up the sales charts like year to year now. But like, it's tough when the supply continues to struggle just in general with the chip shortage. So for the current circumstances, not bad for Nintendo. It's more worrying on Sony's side when like it's a good thing that they were able to turn in 8,500 PlayStation 5 systems. It's really going to be when we get the supply constraints figured out, hopefully throughout 2022. That's a big theme for that year, is all of a sudden systems become available in stores. Will the PS5 be able to sell more and recover in Japan? Because it seems like people in Japan, based on what's going on online and different polls and surveys that are being taken, really want PS5s. They're just not getting them currently. So here's hoping Sony can get it figured out, but at least this week they're trending in the right direction from the previous. In our last bit of news, let's talk about an interesting story that popped up around the Epic Games Store, which has been under a lot of scrutiny when it comes to features, especially you compare it, it's not even close if you compare it to Steam, right? Like, it was a big deal when they got a shopping cart, like plug-in for the store. But it does look like people are noticing that if your internet connection goes out, or the Epic Game Store, I should say, goes down, which did happen recently because I believe Amazon servers had some serious issues and it was a lot of outages across the internet, basically. Looks like you can't really play those games you bought digitally. You can see this over on MP First, who says legit PC players can't play Final Fantasy VII Remake offline after Epic Game Store goes down. And we can see Epic Game Store did have to tweet out internet services outages are currently impacting the Epic Game Store, affecting logins, library, purchases, etc. We are monitoring the situation. We will update you when the issue is resolved. And there were quite a few people responding with just games that wouldn't work, which does include Final Fantasy VII Remake, which is a highly publicized release on their platform, considering the price increase, of course, for PC players, and then it just being Final Fantasy VII Remake. Game we've expected to come to PC for some time, but finally has happened. And this is just another thing. I know we talked about the all digital future, but I mean, there it is, right? Your purchase, and you can't play it because on their end, they're having an issue with their servers in order to provide just authentication to the game that you bought. I think that's one of the reasons people like things like Good Old Games, because you get, or GOG, because you get DRM free and all of this, but that is part of that all digital future, is just DRM. Whether people like it or not, it's gonna follow this whole thing forward. I know Steam lets you at least go offline for like 30 days. That's something Epic Game Store might want to start working out and figuring out here. I know the shopping cart, that got done. There's a lot going on there, right? But hopefully they can work more on the functionality as opposed to just signing every single game with a limited like time exclusivity, because I know that draws people in, but I feel like you want to draw them into a good overall experience with the platform. And before we go to the comment of the day, we're taking a little poll that I posted up yesterday, where I asked, do you consider the Switch an 8th gen, that being PS4 and Xbox One, or 9th gen PS5, Xbox Series X system? Ooh, look at this. 87% said 8th gen. 13% said 9th gen. This is something that people really had some conversations about in the comments. What defines a console generation? Is it power? Is it the time period? Do we have to go by that specific company's like schedule? Because think about it, the Wii U was part of the PS4 and the Xbox One generation, right? They were being compared, and the Switch comes out as a successor to the Wii U. People were seeing it maybe as, oh, the Wii U was a mulligan and then the Switch is replacing it in that 8th gen. It's back and forth. Is it because the hardware more aligns with the PS4 and the Xbox One, and that's why it's part of that generation? It's tough. It really is certainly a conversation to have as to how we define those generations. And to be honest, I'm not even sure where the Switch really fits. I mean, based on Nintendo's release schedule, sure, it should be 9th gen, but based on its capabilities, I guess it would be more 8th gen. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts though in the comments. Is the Switch an 8th gen system or a 9th gen system? And we'll finish up with the comment of the day as you're seeing here. This is from DP saying, I am all for Bandai's physical strategy in regards to .hack's release. I'd much rather they release it exclusively versus GameStop. Last thing we need is GameStop opening new copies of the game, akin to trying to find a new sealed copy of Xenoblade Chronicles for the Wii. Back in the day, yeah, that was a whole thing with GameStop. Apparently they were opening new copies so they could sell it used for like 80 or 90 bucks. You can't really play around with the MSRP on new games, but hey, if it's a used copy, we can make it whatever price we want. And that's apparently what was going on. It was very difficult to find at the time. And you know what? I like the idea of at least being able to buy the game directly from a publisher who's maybe not sure if it's worth taking the chance and stocking up stores. That costs money. The logistics that go into that and the concerns around overstocking is a real thing, right? So if they just want to throw up a page and they're like, if you guys want to pre-order, we'll fill those orders. They don't want to necessarily fill 10 orders and that's it. So at least that way they can monitor it, and worst case scenario, they just cancel it and don't do a physical copy. But if we're going through this process and we're pre-ordering a $60 game that came out a while ago and has been on sale many times for less than 10 bucks on other platforms, it all has to be on that cartridge. That's my thing now, especially since they have shown an image of the box art with no blue banner. If we pre-order this thing and it shows up in the mail and you get one game on the cartridge, you got to download the rest, there's gonna be some problems there, I think. And ladies and gentlemen, that's gonna do it here for Newswave. If you enjoyed this video, guys, hit that like button, really helps out. If not, hit the dislike. Leave comments down below about everything we talked about here today, but just all the different sales for the Switch or the 3DS. Are you still playing your 3DS, and are you gonna pick up any of those cheap Atlas games? Let me know about that one. And then what about the Epic Game Store? Of course, not being able to play a game that you have purchased off the store because they're having issues on their end, but just the Epic Game Store platform in general. What are your thoughts around it now? Thanks, guys, for watching, and I'll see you next time.